Hello and welcome. If you have any comments, go ahead and put them you can go ahead and write them down. If you're on Facebook, you will have to sign in on StreamYard or give StreamYard your okay to post for you. If you're on YouTube or Twitch, you can go ahead and type in the comments and it'll show up for me. So we're going to go ahead and start off by discussing about the first chakra. So this is one that has always eluded me when people would talk about it. And what it is that I realized that what my guides were telling me and what I was being told by other people were two totally different things. And so we're going to kind of go through a little bit of stuff. I'm going to move that shirt out of the way. And we're going to kind of go through a little bit of stuff and talk about this and talk about grounding and walking barefoot in the sand and grass and how that is really all that we need to do to ground ourselves. Some people are like, oh, you need to create that big, huge grounding cord and dump your crap to the earth on a regular basis. But what if we really don't need to do that? Because our bodies are carbon. The earth is carbon. So when we just go barefoot, we're automatically transferring everything, the dark stuff, the junk we don't want out, and the healthier stuff back in. And it just becomes this great cycle. And so your first chakra, that develops when we're about 6 months in utero up until the age of 7. And this year is all about your safety, security, how you trust the universe, how you trust other people. And it's an interesting time period that when I'm working with my clients and they have a hard time trusting, why automatically go back to those first 7 years to find out, okay, what's going on? What happened? Why aren't you trusting? Because I know going through my own journey, that's where all my stuff was, is those first 7 years. Yeah, as you know, we all have stuff, right? Anyways, so when we go back and we're able to take a look at, did you ever feel safe? Did you feel secure? Did you have enough food? Did you feel loved? Were you accepted? Were you able to communicate your wants and needs? And did people respond? That's the key. Because when we're younger, we do know how to communicate our wants and needs. The problem is that if the people who are supposed to respond do not respond, then we don't think that the universe is going to respond to us when we put out our wants and needs into the universe. See, our parents, for the first few years, is our universe, right? Because when we're born, we're looking up to them. We're wanting them to assimilate and help us through and know how to figure out our wants and our needs without us speaking. If they are able to figure out our wants and needs without our speaking, we are able to dictate to the universe our wants and needs. And it comes to us just like that. If they're not able to, then it takes some time to figure out that you are so totally worth having your wants and needs and desires fulfilled in this universe. And so today's meditation is going to go off of grounding. We're going to take a little journey. We're going to ground with the earth, not to the earth, with the earth. Then, hopefully, if anyone has questions afterwards, we can go ahead and take some. All right, so I want you to go ahead and sit back. Take 3 deep, long breaths. All right, now that we're all nice and relaxed, I want you to go ahead and take a look through your third eye. And look where you're at. You're in a meadow of green grass. I want you to make sure that your shoes are not on your feet when you're walking in this grass. And while you're here, all I want you to do is just walk. And with each step, ask the earth and the universe to take all your worries away. As we're sitting here and we're walking into this meadow, we come across our Akashic Record building. And we're going to go on in. We're going to say hi to our guides. And then this time, we're going to ask them to bring us any chapters of our books where we've had issues with trust, safety and security, and loving ourselves, being able to speak our truth. So we're going to go ahead and ask them to bring all that stuff forward to us. And we're going to hold those books in our hands. And while those books are in our hands, what I want you to do is to think of what other things you want to replace into those books. Because remember, we just asked for any books where we were not trusting the universe, where we did not have safety and security, and where we were not able to articulate our wants and needs or had people respond in appropriate ways to them. So instead of those things, what else would you like to see in your world instead? And ask your guide to put that into those books as an emotion and take out those other emotions that you felt when I mentioned lack of trust and all the other ones. We're just going to sit here for a few minutes while they do their job. All right, we're going to hand the books back to our guides. We're going to say thank you to our Akashic Record guide. And we're just going to head back out the door to this time. We're not going to explore today. We're going to head back into the meadow, walking with our bare feet. And as we get back to our starting point, I want you to go ahead, take 3 deep breaths, and open your eyes when you're ready. Somebody had a big release. Oh, it's okay. Know that we're all back true. So if you have any questions, you want to discuss any issues you have around your first chakra, the grounding chakra, if you have any questions, go ahead and type them into the comments so that way I can see them, and I would love to answer them for you. Unfortunately, if you're on Facebook, unless you give StreamYard the okay to see your comments, they don't come through. If you're on the YouTube channel or the Twitch channel, they're going to come through just fine. So if you have any questions you want to talk about, any things you want to discuss about our first chakra, it's the color red. It's also about passion. It's the release. And it's the one that develops when we're in utero up to 7 years. Granted, every year there's also a secondary chakra that develops. So when we're 0 to 1, we're basically just working on our grounding chakra. And from 1 to 2, it's grounding and our second chakra. When we're 2 to 3, it's grounding and the third chakra. And so forth up until we hit the age of 7. And then we go to our second chakra as our main priority. And we'll go ahead and discuss that next week. Because if you look at the correlations in the chakras and when they develop with early childhood, it is really amazing how it's like people are like, oh yeah. So when we're working on our grounding chakra completely, it's from the time we're conceived or the time we're born until we turn 1. Then we're working on the second chakra along with the first chakra from the time we're 1 until we're 2. Okay, that second chakra is that sense of self, the connection, and then we go to the third chakra, which is your self-esteem, and that goes from age 2 to age 3. So if you think about it too, that age right there, 2 to 3, people call them the terrible twos. But if you look at it this way, you can really understand that during that time period, since we're working on our self-esteem, that child really wants to figure out how to do things for themselves. That's at that level. And when they can figure it out, they're able to grow that self-esteem for those things at that moment. And so when we look at the chakra developments with early childhood, it really does make a lot of sense on why they have their behaviors or the emotions or their outbreaks that they do, because they are growing and working on developing, trusting their universe, trusting their parents, knowing that they're going to have everything that they need to survive. So when they grow up and move out and move on, they have everything that they need. And so that is our end goal as parents, is to make sure these children have what they need. And so, that's first chakra is the most important one of all. I really think so. Those first 7 years are very needed and necessary. And for that child to make sure that I don't know about your guys' childhood, but I know about mine. Then I've worked with that if a child did not feel love within their childhood at all, at least by one parent, they have a much harder time overcoming and getting through the obstacles that have been presented in front of them from not developing or having a full sense of development of their chakras early on. So like for my childhood, there was no love in the house. There was chaos. I learned really early on that I was on my own, that I was not allowed and couldn't count on anyone. Yeah. Okay. Children should not be learning that at that age. Being able to be self-sufficient is something we start to do at age 8 when we're like going, no, I want to figure this out. Not at age 2. So when we see kids and we know that they've had chaos within their childhood, let's make sure that they know that they are truly loved by someone. So that way they can overcome a lot more of these obstacles, because they're not easy to overcome. But once we realize it, they are extremely easy to go, yeah, I'm done with that one. Oh, all right. So do we have any questions about the meditation, about the first chakra, grounding? All right. I want to say thank you for watching tonight. I hope you enjoyed the meditation. If you missed part of it, just go on back, rewatch the video. It will be on YouTube. It's on Twitch. And it'll be on the Facebook group. I think they keep them on there for like 30 days. So I'm Majestic Michelle signing off. And we will talk to you later. Thank you for watching and listening.